I'm Jaka Berger. I'm coming from Slovenia. Originally, I'm a drummer and I will perform my acoustic drum set today. But I also very much love modular synthesizer, which is something I really enjoy in the last few years. So,
But today you're with a not poor, poorly drum set. I'm sorry.
Only drum set, yeah, only wood and skin
Yeah.
and some metal.
Oh,
Like
very
brass
nice.
metal.
Very
Let's say
nice.
brass metal.
And the coating is also very interesting. It's more like
Yeah, it's called fiber skin, so it's an imitation of conga skin and
oh, I see.
djembe.
Is there a special sound?
At the moment, I'm tuned really openly, so it's not the drum set is not damped in any way, so it's very open sounding, so I can get different textures and details.
Okay.
So it's like-
And do you tune really? Can you frequency tune it? Is it possible somehow?
Let's say I don't tune to notes, to specific
Okay.
notes, but I like the bass drum to be like at the bottom, like sub and very bassy. And then depends. Some of the tones are pretty high, and I like the overtones on the edge of the drum that ring. So
Beautiful, beautiful. So I realize you like the sounds. You're interested in sounds.
always interested in the sound, but especially like today because it's a solo thing. I can do stuff that I cannot do when I play in a group. So with other instruments, some of the details and really quiet, small stuff it's gone by the group. It's overtaken by other sounds. So when it's only drum, so I can really go into specific details and overtones and sustains and so on.
Ah, that's nice. So you can also decide when there is no sound and sound. So
Yeah, of course.
you're-
I mean, silence is a big part of
Yeah.
it, especially if you want something to resonate and bring the harmonics out. The silence is a big part of it, so you can really like make it sustain and so on.
I realize now you're in the mood for a solo. Is there not this kind of being afraid because you're in the power to work with the silence and then come back? Or I can't describe it because to be in power of if I do nothing, there is nothing.
Yeah. But tonight I'm performing the graphic score treatise from Cornelius
Yeah.
Cardew, which is a very challenging score. I mean, it challenges me to reinvent myself in a way.
Oh, really?
So yeah, there is 193 pages of it. So I selected
Wow.
some of it. So it's a big chunk of score. But there is one page that it's empty. So I guess maybe I could interpret it as a silence or just like a non-action, like so.
Yeah.
The whole piece is combined with a lot of contrasts, like a lot of silent stuff and then powerful things and so on. So yeah.
That's interesting because one of my questions very often tonight is your performance something pre-thoughts? Do you have pre-thoughts or scored music, or is it free improvised? Now you
The
already
trick
told
is
us.
for treaty score there is no rules how to interpret it.
I see.
So it's up to each individual how to approach it. And yes, I know what I'm gonna do. It's a score, it's a composed thing, but within this composition there is a lot of improvised parts. I know what I'm gonna do, but within this there is an open thing that lets me be relaxed and just be here now, in this spot. But it will be more or less in the direction of the score.
That's interesting. Normally I know you as an improviser, so you're open. Does this open some more in you if you have some let's say boundaries or some how
Yeah,
is it?
actually, I don't know. Throughout the years, I played a lot of improvised music in the last 15 years. I was in different situations. We would have some scores. We would have totally open concept, up to the situations where you meet the musicians for the first time on the stage, and you just have to be there in this moment. So yeah, I mean all these situations, but at the same time I play in bands a lot also.
Okay.
So I did not neglect the genre
I see,
music
yeah.
in this way. So yeah, I really enjoy to play like totally open, but then it depends who you play with, what is the space, how the sound in the room is, and so on. Of course, the crowd, the public
Yeah.
is also like the listeners are a big factor of it, of course. I still love this process. It still opens up new sound, new directions, new expressions. It's how I create my language, how I add on my language to what is already there and bring new stuff to it. But when I get this, I also really in the last few years enjoy sort of a compose this. So when I get some new sound result or some new technique or something that I discover, it becomes my language, and I really enjoy then putting it into specific context, have a focused idea of a record or a specific group, how I want it to sound or something like that, which is in a way not possible with open groups, because then you are dependent on the other musicians and the whole situation, which can bring, of course, fascinating results. But I like to compose and build with the language that is already there, and adding new stuff through improvised music, and get these results and then pack it into something more focused, more compact. So it's in a way, for example, I'm making hip hop with modular synthesizer, but it's not like this regular, let's say 90s, 2000s, old school hip hop. It's a lot of improvised music was influenced by my sound when I'm making hip hop. So even when I'm making genre music, it's not strictly like sounding like that. I try to go over it, you know.
So a kind of improvisation is always, you're carrying improvisation always with you. It doesn't depend that you're free somehow, whatever is free. Also in the other genres, yes, there is, it's still an important part.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Even if there is a
Yeah.
structure, there is probably you can feel improvised influences within the sound spectrum or aesthetics
Yeah.
and so
What
on.
is it that it makes you also in this court, in this genre, to start improvising? Can you describe it? What makes you? Is it this kind of playing? This kind of I want to play with everything I get, or I don't know.
It's just that I like to explore all the time. I mean, all my influences in the music, not the industry of course, in the music art form, was people who were reinventing or styles or you know, like bringing new stuff to the table. So I feel that I can play rock and roll, I can play reggae, funk, hip hop, I don't know, metal, whatever, jazz, free jazz. But we are here today, you know, like, and I feel like I'm on a mission, like a monk, you know, like to push the boundary of this art form, you know, like, so it's always a bit of that there. Like, this is the one thing that gives me the spark to push the limit, you know.
Does it mean for you this adding improvisation is gives you the possibility to push this is
it's the one thing.
The one thing, yeah.
It always come back to because even when you're in a room with a band trying to make a new song, you start with sort of an improvisation, you know, like you always start from scratch, from silence, and you try to make something happen, and it's usually improvisation, you know, like, and it's always returning back to, because when you get in the same loop, you have your sound, you know what is going to happen, then I always want to find out where it could go, like somewhere else, and exploring is the one thing.
Yeah, not getting bored or to have more too much repetition, repeat, or
in a way, yeah. I mean, it's just like when there is something that I can do already, like I can repeat. I'm stupid example again, like Iron Maiden, you know, like 25 albums sounds the same. It's great. It's amazing band, you know, I love it, and they have this sound and they pursue it for their whole lives, and they're great at it. I'm just not that kind of person, I guess, you know, like maybe if, I don't know, the career would go in some direction like this, and there would be success within the music industry business, you know, maybe I would pursue this one sound and idea, you know, like, but in my case, every path is different, so I have this maybe, how to say it, I'm lucky that I can actually explore it. I'm not chained by some contracts where I have to make 5 more albums that sounds the same. You know? Like, so I'm kind of free in this way, you know, like to explore even in the genre music.
That sounds nice. Yeah, and in this, maybe it's now you taught us already. I see. This is a kind of life, how you see life also, or is this too much? No, not getting esoteric. I just say, it sounds like, let's walk, let's look, have a look, what will happen. Yeah.
The curiosity of the mind. For me, improvisation is a way of principle that you can actually apply to any aspect of life, you know, like it's about conversation, it's about living the space, it's about if you have something to say it, if you don't, shut up, you know, like in this way. The last few years I'm running workshops with improvisation concepts, and I work with people out of the art scene. So it's a lot of things that you can relate to everyday life, to relationships, to working relationships, career or interests or hobbies or whatever, you know, like, and I do improvised stuff, and I have an improvised orchestra with non-musicians where we just explore these concepts, and they're usually very open to these things because they're very familiar to us, because they're like a social concepts, you know, like it's how to behave within a group, or how to make a conversation, or things like that are actually our everyday interactions, are all hidden within improvised concepts, you know.
This sounds interesting, because very often you get bored by your community, or you don't look out, he's doing this, I got also this style. And if you work with people who are really open somehow, or don't know it, you can learn a lot. I didn't know to look at this in this perspective, or to hear this.
There is this small trick when you work with non-musicians on these kind of things, is that if you give them the guitar, they don't know how to play it, and they will explore it in their own way if you let them. And they will find sound results that you could never get to it if you are if you know how to play a guitar, you know, like, so it's like, we could say, like, this artistic ego is sometimes blocking us from some stuff. So again, maybe to come back to the treaty score, is one thing. When I saw these shapes, it's very technical drawings, it just challenges me, like, how do I play a circle or a line or a square, like these basic shapes? What does it mean to me, you know, like, how do I approach this? So then I started to rethink myself on the drawing, you know. Like,
I think let's stop with this, because this is very interesting. I'm often interested in, if you learned how to play the drum, it's automatic in you. But how to get, also you can love it, but how to get out of it, of this automatism. And this sounds, for me, this course opens somehow your relation to how to play the drums also. Could it be?
It was really challenging the first time when I bump into this score, and it got me thinking a lot, and I started to make a prepared snare drum because of this, you know, because I wanted more out of a drum than just like tum tum, zin zin, you know, like it was just the same sound all the time. So it was a thing that got me into developing my own prepared snare drum and so on. But now after 2009 till today, like over 10 years of working with this, I'm coming back to pure sounding drums. So
Very
this
nice.
was a challenge to come back to the roots of it. But yeah, at the same time, I also think it's important to keep your shape within the genre music, so to not totally forget the forms that already exist, you know, like, because again, improvised music is, for me at least, my personal view is that it is the whole spectrum. So if I need 3 bars of rock beat within the improvised setup, you know, like, it's there, and I need to know how to do it, you know, like, otherwise I lack one spectrum of emotion, you know, like, and the language. So yeah, it's both things to take care of and balance in a way, you know, like.
Very nice ending. So I'm looking forward to your performance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.